everyone, and welcome to another episode of the PE Geek Podcast. And as always, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Now, my favorite episodes are the ones where I introduce you to phys ed teachers who are doing really incredible things. And it's no different today when I introduce you to Dave Carney. How are you, Dave?
I'm fine. How are you, Jared?
Very good. Now, paint the picture for the people listening. It's an early morning for you. Whereabouts?
Yeah, I'm in Fort Myers, Florida. I teach kindergarten through fifth grade PE.
Awesome. And how many years has this been what you've been doing?
Well, this is my 10th year. Well, I taught 10 years in the classroom, and then I got a lucky break and got the PE position when the teacher quit. So this is my 5th year teaching physical education.
Perfect. And I mean, what sort of, you mentioned lucky break. Why for you is it the thing that you enjoy?
Well, I always grew up playing sports, especially baseball, and but I went to school for elementary education, but I was also a personal trainer and ran some fitness camps in North Carolina, and my principal knew that. So when the PE teacher quit, he called me up one day over the summer and said, "Hey, do you want the job?" And I jumped all over that, and just my favorite job I've ever had. So it's been
sort
great.
of like the amalgamation of all the things that you grew up enjoying, and you get to sort of bring that to life in an everyday setting. I feel like that's the same for me too. I grew up with sport and teaching, and mash them together and you get this PE profession. So it's interesting.
Yeah,
I hadn't known that story about you, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, so I mean, I wanted to bring you on the show because you're doing some really incredible things, and I think they are really testament to your interest in wanting to learn more. And I wanted you to sort of paint the setting for us about this whole online journey and where it sort of happened for you.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, I'd say after teaching about 2.5 years of PE, I really wasn't connected to anybody. I felt like I was my own island. And, there's not a lot of professional development in my district. We only meet about once a year. And I didn't know, I can't just go to the music teacher and ask her for help or another classroom teacher. So it was really just me. And, I'm always trying to learn and grow. And I was just searching for, it's kind of interesting here. I know you know this. I was just searching for some books to read and just something new. And I stumbled across your book, It's Now Possible. And I honestly didn't even know who Jared Robinson was at the time. And, it blew me away. I didn't know any of that was possible in PE class. And it just changed my line of thinking. And, I got connected following you and listening to the podcast. And, that led me to, talking to people on Twitter through your Twitter challenge. It also then led me to, Osama from Dubai, who got me onto Voxer, and that just changed everything. It just, talking to people all over the world has been incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it is a real rabbit hole of professional development in many ways, isn't it? So I just love it. Like you've found a resource and then you've got connected, and it sort of hyper leverages that connection, and which I think is incredible. So the book that you were talking about, It's Now Possible, was probably one of the first ever things that I ever published back in 2011. And I looked at it the other day and thought it probably needs to be updated or, had something done with it. But it's amazing to know that eventually led you down the track of social media. And from there, you've gone on to be a really important conversationist in the community that I am part of every single day. And I really want to thank you for that. And I really want to sort of get around to one area of a unit that you did last year, I think it was, and that was the Tchoukball unit that you introduced into your, was it year 5 student or grade 5 students?
Yeah, exactly. We've done it 2 years now, and I definitely learned a lot from the first year. This year was much better and much smoother.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just introduced lots of different apps and different technology that the kids were not used to, and it was just an amazing journey. So yeah.
So I mean, you set the scene. It was a Tchoukball unit, and for those of you that haven't played Tchoukball, I recommend going and checking it out. And you probably want to You probably don't necessarily know how it's spelt initially. It's a bit of a different one. It starts with a T. But it is a great game, and I know that, Dave, you ran it in a bit of a sport education model. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I kind of did a blend of something I saw from you on your website, and then something from Nathan Horn, and try to blend it into, my own type unit with, I have the kids all had different jobs between captain, scorekeeper, media team, referees, things like that. And we did a round robin tournament, and eventually did a culminating event, which was just amazing. Inside, we're normally outside all day long, and so the culminating event was actually inside our cafeteria. We created that. We made that into just a big coliseum of just craziness, and we had most of the school come out to watch it. So it was just incredible.
Now, I remember you mentioning that the principal had even made a journey into the culminating event.
Yeah, we had a VIP section. Yeah, VIP section for the administration. We had some of the students were like the ticket sale people and the security. We call them security. They they really took those jobs seriously and escorted our VIP to their section and everything. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, I mean, for those of you that are listening that are unfamiliar with the sports education model, essentially, as Dave has pointed out, students are given roles and a little bit more responsibility, you would say, in the class. And did you find as a teacher that you got to step back a little bit and see a different perspective from the students?
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I actually did my own on my phone, videoing and talking to kids, because it was, well, I have 3 assistants, paras, and they, between them and just the kids running everything, it was just incredible. And I got to just be a fan and walk around, and it was just, it's hard to describe how wonderful the kids, they just took their job so seriously and did such an amazing job of, just learning new things. I mean, they took the media team to a new level. They actually use your Balance It, app to do a cheer squad and just, things like that were just, it just blew me away.
Yeah, really impressive. So if you're interested in learning more about the sports education model, you can head on to the pegeek.com/sportsed, and that will redirect you to a 60-minute webinar that you can complete that sort of takes you into the different processes around running it. Now, would you have, sort of going back to the students' responses in that particular unit, do you think they sort of got a lot from it, more so than just a traditional PE setting with, direct teaching and so forth?
Yeah, I really think so, because, the students, I have definitely some students that just were not, or just they didn't like to participate. And with the sports ed unit, they just took on, these new jobs, these new, they were part of a new type of team where everybody had a position, everybody had a job, and they just, I'm thinking of one in particular that he's not a big PE fan, let's just say. And he took that media position to a whole new level. I mean, he was excited to come to PE every day. He couldn't wait to go around and either take pictures or, use some of the apps to document, the journey. And, I was really impressed. And that led to deeper conversations with him and, getting a better relationship with him, down the road. So.
Yeah, all really big wins. Now, going forward, what sort of things did you learn from that? Maybe it was a mistake that you made on that sort of tech and PE journey scale that you could share with us today, because I'm a big believer in mistakes being really big lessons for us in the classroom, and I know that you probably think the same.
Yeah, there was one really big one, and I was so excited to use the app CollabraCam that I saw on your webinar. Yeah. And if for those who don't know, CollabraCam basically takes you can have a director with one iPad, and then different cameras can be set up with other phones and iPads, and it just brings it all together in one movie, and they could take different shots down the in the court, different angles. And it worked at home flawlessly. It was perfect. I worked on it with my children, and I was so excited to use this. And then I brought it to school, and brought about 10 students down to the cafeteria to try it out, and it would not sync up. We thought the Wi-Fi was probably blocking it, but eventually we found out it just needed a separate kind of Wi-Fi box, which we fixed on year 2. So we really didn't use CollabraCam the first year of our tournament, unfortunately. But this past year it worked just perfectly, and it was one of my favorite apps there is. So it was great.
Yeah, I mean, no, it is a pretty incredible app, and I know they've just recently updated it to sort of make it even better. I think you can add more devices to the different camera angles. But like
Right.
Dave's mentioned, it sort of produces a professional video type effect in a phys ed class, which I think is extraordinary. So you can head along to the pegeek.com/CollabraCam, which is CollabraCam, and that'll redirect you to the App Store where you can have a look. Now, you mentioned CollabraCam. Are there any other sort of apps or devices, tools that you are quite fond of?
Yeah, I mean, well, during the tournament, we used a couple of yours, the Video Tagger Pro, and yeah, love that. And like I said, the Balance It app, the students just love doing those balances. During a regular PE class, because we're outside, we added an outside projector that allows me to project to our whiteboard. I think people think we're a little kind of crazy outside projecting, but it works pretty well for us, especially in the morning when there's not a glare.
Yeah.
So yeah, we use some of the ones I use the most, I guess, would be CoachNote, Swork Kids, especially now that they have the kids version.
For sure.
Yeah. We use another one of yours, Run Lap Tap. I time some students. Some of them love to be timed, and so they love seeing their scores and how they can improve on their times.
Perfect. No, I think you pointed out a really good thing that that I want to mention, and you do teach in a very interesting environment in that you're always outside. That's correct. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, unless there's a rainy day, then we go inside the media center or the cafeteria.
And the other sort of difficulty is that you've got a very big number of students every time that you teach.
Yeah, I have anywhere from 4 to 6 classes, so about usually about 100 to 100, sometimes 50 students at a time.
Absolutely. So, I mean, Dave is really testament to how good planning and enthusiasm and so forth around how to use technology can actually be possible in a large classroom. And he's shown that, it absolutely is. And in approaches like a CPEP program, a sports education program that he's mentioned, you were able to remove yourself, which meant that you were able to do things that you probably normally wouldn't have done, which again sort of references that the model of teaching that you use can definitely free you up in those larger environments. So awesome stuff, Dave. That's why really impressed with the work that you've been putting out there, and wanted to get you on the show to share it. Is there any other mistakes that you've made along the way outside of the CPEP sports education program that you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it was when we first started trying to project and project my iPad or phone to the screen, and we just had I had a lot of Wi-Fi type problems that were eventually fixed. Things were being blocked, and I could definitely think of at least 1 or 2 times when I was trying to project it, and for some reason it just wouldn't do it. I mean, I have a connector, and it just would not connect. And so I just had to improvise, just had to just start jumping around with the kids and moving around. And until it got working, I was calling the tech guy, and, it happened actually more than once. So
yeah,
just getting things blocked and things not working. So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I am the same. I've had numerous situations myself where mistakes have been made. And I think they're some of the best lessons that I've ever had in this whole tech and PE space, that, fail forward, make sure that you try and not make the same mistake again. And I think you got to expect it, because learning is messy. Students learn every day, and it's not a flawlessly executed, thing every time. And we're no different. So I don't think that we should be afraid to try something out of the risk of failure. And I think you'd agree with that as well. So you've mentioned Voxer. Now, we haven't really spoken about this a lot on the podcast. However, I do want to sort of highlight for you, why you think that's been the absolute game changer.
Well, Voxer is like almost like a instant message or system for, or you can even text different, teachers around the world. And, I just got connected into just a PE general chat, and that was when it was only about, I don't know, 10 or 15 people in the chat. Mm-hmm. And it's just grown over to, I don't even know, 200, 250 people, and which led to other side chats as well with different interest groups. And, I could just get on there at any time of the day or night and throw a question out there or share something that we've been doing. And, within moments could get a response from people all over the country, all over the world. And, it just, these people have become my friends on Voxer, just talking to them for, over a year on there, a year and a half. So yeah, it's just been an amazing journey.
I just love that it's like a virtual staff room. So, I mean, I know that,
yeah.
I know that you're in a school where you don't have access to heaps of, phys ed teachers all the time, but what you do have access to with Voxer is that you can talk to someone in a different country about a question you have right then and there, and it's as if you're in that staff room environment, which I think is really quite powerful. So head along to the pegeek.com/Voxer, which is VOXER, and you can find a tutorial video about how to use it and get started in your PE journeys. So, Dave, that'll probably bring us to the end of this episode. Where can people find out and get connected with you after today's show?
Well, I'm mostly on Twitter and Voxer. My Twitter handle is PE_Dave1017. Mm-hmm. And you can find me on Voxer. It's D Carney, but without a Y, 681.
Perfect. And we'll have all those links inside of the show notes at thepegeek.com for you to download, as well as all the resources and anything else that we've mentioned throughout today's show. So I really want to thank Dave for coming on and sort of taking us on an inside look into how we got connected and the value of connection, right through to how it's sort of been introduced into practice, and then how that practice has sort of grown, all because of the connections that he's made. And I think the biggest part, Dave, is the fact that you've been willing to try and learn and fail and adapt and move, and I think that's the absolute reason why I've asked you to come on the show. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I look forward to speaking soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Jared.
You're welcome, man. See ya.